welcome to Sports Corner with Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier. And now here's your host, Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Grosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and MM-Aniacs. The nightly podcasts are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Crime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports. Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails, NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Hope you like all the shows.
Yeah, we're here in your city right now. Oh, you know it, and that's some big and rich. And I am Ralph Williams, along with Smokin' Jim Frazier. This is the Sports Corner Show with me, Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier. And I want to let everyone know today I'm having some issues with some more technical deals here. I just found out that I'm having some issues here trying to get some things moving. But it's not moving, obviously, so I don't know what the deal is, but we're going to find out as we go along here today. But anyway, welcome aboard, and it's great to be here. We have a lot to talk about, as we always do here on the Sports Corner Show. Next week, I wanted to let everyone know that next week we will have Keith Engel on, and Keith is on from. He is from TGI Sports Network, and he also has a show on the National Podcasters Network, and he will join us next week. We're going to talk college football, NFL, and the tail end of Major League Baseball here as it gets ready to wind down. All right, Smokin' Jim, welcome to the program. It's great to have you on.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. I'm ready for this one.
All right, thank you, and we're getting ready to start our rants here a little bit, and we're sponsored today by Mata Heating and Air Conditioning, 724-2010-500, Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. You ought to call Mata Heating and Air Conditioning, and I can't. I'm having issues trying to get my banners up today, so I don't know what the heck is going on here today, but we're having some kind of situations here today, and as usual, you know how it works. Sometimes the equipment just doesn't work properly, and I don't know what's going on. And, so here we are. So we're going to go from there. All right. Let's see here. All right. Yep. All right. We don't need to worry about that on the comment section. Okay. Let's get started with today's show. We have plenty to talk about today, as I mentioned before. All right. Let's get started here. My rant today is Cam Hayward, Chris Boswell. Guys, stop crying. I don't want to hear no more complaining about your contract. I don't want to hear no more complaining about how much money you're making because TJ Watt's making more than you. I don't want to hear it, okay? If Chuck Noll was alive today and he was the coach of the Steelers today, and I know he's not, okay, I would tell the Steelers, I would tell Cam Hayward, we're going to trade you since you don't want to come in and participate You already have a contract. You signed it last year, okay? Why do you want more money? What is your intention on this? And I get it. It's because of the TJ Watts of the world and whomever. You want more money. You want more. You want a Super Bowl. You said you wanted to stay to get a Super Bowl. Well, let me tell you a little story here, Cam. You're not going to get one here, all right? Because I'm telling you right now, this team will never go to another Super Bowl with Mike Tomlin. I will tell you that right now, straight up and down, all right? It will never, ever, they will never, ever go to a Super Bowl with Mike Tomlin ever again, all right? And I've already told you what's going to happen, all right, with this, with that, all right? So there you go. Guys, please, okay? I have asked you 200 times, and I'm not going to say it 201 time, to stop mentioning certain person's name here, okay? All right? Please, stop doing it, okay? All right? Okay? Just don't do it anymore, please. I'm telling you right now, this is it. I will block you out, all right? So, yeah, no kidding, Cyberuski. We know that. I know that already. Please, stop it. All right. I don't want to hear no more about it. All right. I could care less. I already know. All right. So anyway, let me get back to my rant here. All right. So we have Ben Sauls, who is a former pick kicker who kicked a 70-yard field goal or 65-yard field goal, and it was one of the biggest in the history of the NCAA. Okay. So why not sign him? Tell Chris Boswell, take a hike if you don't like your salary, okay? But the Steelers are not going to do that. That's the whole problem, okay? They're going to cave into both of them, and give them what they need. I'd trade both of them, get some draft picks and maybe a pretty decent player, take their money and move it somewhere else, okay? Guys, stop crying. You make enough money. And that's my rant for today. Smoking Jim's wisdom. Go ahead.
Hey, great job, Ralph. That's a tough one to follow there,
Thank
man.
you.
Great job. But hey, I took a lot of heat from since the NFL draft when the Pittsburgh Steelers drafted Will Howard, the quarterback out of Ohio State, and I said that Will Howard's not an NFL quarterback. I said Will Howard is a tight end in the quarterback's body. And I said he never, ever was better than Skylar Thompson. He couldn't beat him out in college. He won't beat him out now. And after the performance, Thompson won himself a job in the last preseason game against Jacksonville. He showed what he could do. He had an opportunity. He seized the opportunity and took full advantage of it. So the Pittsburgh Steelers can either keep Will Howard as a fourth-string quarterback, or he get on with his life work, and that is learning the tight end position.
All right, there you are. Yeah, I believe, we watched that game. I did. Despite the fact I'm down here, I was able to catch it on the NFL Network on another time. So I was able to take care of that. And, when you are able to watch it and see what's going on, and you got guys like a Skylar Thompson and the West Sides or the Westgate or whoever that other quarterback is, that didn't do bad in these games. And Mason Rudolph should even have been back on this team, Smoking Jim. That's the bottom line right there. All right. I thought we were going to rid of him forever. And then all of a sudden they signed him back. And it came to the point to where he almost would have became our starting quarterback if Aaron Rodgers wasn't here. You think about that, Smoking Jim. He would have probably been the starting quarterback because I didn't see the Steelers doing anything else to bring anybody else in here other than wait for Aaron Rodgers. And the Steelers haven't had a plan for quarterback since Ben left, and it's been poor plans, and that's it. So we're going to find out what happens. Josh, you're telling me to quit being negative. Well, what about Cam Hayward holding out? That's not negative. That's negative toward the team. A guy who's supposed to be the captain of the defense, Josh, okay? A captain of the defense. And Chris Boswell, one of the best kickers in the league, The guys already signed a contract. Play your contract out. Okay? The contract was put together for Cam Hayward for cap friendliness. And he's up 34 years old. Okay? So explain to me, all right, where he justifies holding out for more money. Are the Steelers going to give it to him? I don't know. I hope they don't. Let him hold out. Let him lose money. Then when he starts losing money, he's going to come back. Chris Boswell's going to come back. But if I'm the GM right now, I'm Omar Khan. I'm GM Mike Tomlin. You know what I would do? I'd say, see you later. I'm trading you. I'm getting draft picks and some other stuff going on. I'll bring in somebody else. Okay? There's guys going to be out there after training camp that got beat out by rookies or something like that are looking for another shot. We don't need Cam Hayward. I know he won the Walter Payton Man of the Year. I get that. Fine. But instead of him doing what he was doing and keeping his mouth closed and just doing his job, okay? No, that's not the Cam Hayward we're seeing now. We're seeing the Cam Hayward that wants more money. We're seeing the Cam Hayward that's, oh, well, if I don't get what I want, I'm going to, you know what I mean? Okay? No, Cam, you don't get that. That's not you. All right? So don't try to be somebody that you think you're going to be. And that's a guy who, that's like, you know, you get a wrestler, and we can talk about this in wrestling at times, Smokin' Jim. You get a wrestler who basically has a, you know, a situation where he's a heel, and then he's a bad guy, or, you know, or a heel or a baby face, but then he can't play baby, or, you know, he's not a good baby face and doesn't do well as a baby face or a heel or whatever. So, you know, here we are. This is the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Cam Hayward is supposedly a good guy. He's good in the community. He's captain of the defense. He does this, he does that. And now all of a sudden he wants more money. Isn't that something? Smokin' Jim, your thoughts. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you. Listen, if now we're going back a ways, but if Dick Haley and Chuck Noll was still here, running the team as the GM and the head coach, that would never happen. I don't think Tom Donahoe would allow this. Listen, the guy he just signed a new deal last year. He has 2 years remaining. And here's the egregious part, Ralph, that I don't think a lot of people know. In March, he accepted the roster bonus of $13 million, which means he's already been paid for this year. He's accepted payment for this season already, and he's holding out. So that's against everything in the contract. If you wanted to renegotiate the contract or retire, you shouldn't have accepted the roster bonus. So, but I agree with you 100%. Cam and listen, Boswell's just a kicker. The kid from Pitt, the only difference between the two is one's left-footed, the other one's right-footed. He did a great job on Saturday night or whenever the preseason game was. So these guys got to be taught a lesson, man. I would not negotiate with 2 years left on the contract. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. I think it's silly. I think it's, you know, and I don't think they should either. And I agree with you 100% on that. I really don't think so as well. All right, our show today is brought to you by Tony Moreno for Pittsburgh Mayor. Vote for Tony. Mayor election's coming up November the 9th in Pittsburgh. Please vote for Tony Moreno for Pittsburgh's mayor. And don't forget to join us Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 1250 a.m. The Answer, 92.5 on the FM dial for the Tony Moreno or the Ralph Williams Tony Moreno show. We have a lot to talk about, including about the a whole bunch of stuff going on in the city that has just been really, really crazy these days. And, you know, so of course, we're always, you know, so. All right, Cyberuski calls him Coward Cam. There, Smoking Jim. Coward Cam. There you go. How you like that one? Yeah, there's Smoking Jim.
That's pretty
Coward
funny.
Cam.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, Cyberuski, one of our steady contributors to the station. Yeah, or to the show here. So, All right. Okay. I want to talk about the game on Saturday. Smoking Jim, tell me your thoughts on the game. I know it was just the first preseason game. What did you think? Who what they call came out in your eyes? Who laid an egg? Who did what? What's your thoughts on that game?
I tell you what, I thought the offensive quarterbacks played well. Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson. I thought they acquitted themselves pretty well. I thought that Mount Washington, who's probably not going to be used during the season, showed that he's a big-time weapon. He's going to be a great player for somebody down the road. It's not going to be Pittsburgh. I don't know why they don't want to use a weapon like that. I thought the offensive line didn't play bad. Jacksonville played a lot of their starters in the first quarter. Defensively, I thought Peyton Wilson made a statement. He body slammed the running back, man, and I think a defense ought to strike fear in the offense. You don't have to be fast. You don't have to be strong. You don't have to be quick, but shouldn't nobody outwork you, man. And if you're physical on defense, that reputation gets around. Legion of Boom, the Steel Curtain, Fearsome Foursome, just name it. So I thought the Steelers did pretty well. I thought Roman Wilson, who Coach Tomlin's playing mind games with, I thought he made some really nice catches. I thought the running back was running in quicksand. I thought the draft choices showed the reason why I gave him a D grade. The number one pick was getting blown off the ball, 7, 8, 9 yards. I thought Black played really well. I thought that the running back looked like he was running in quicksand. Everybody's talking about he's a liability in the passing game. He looked like he was running in quicksand.
His blocking's terrible. He's not a good pass blocker.
And he can't catch. And he can't catch.
Yeah.
But all in all, I thought Beanie Bishop.
Yes,
played
Beanie
well.
Bishop. Yes.
I don't know if he's going to make the team. They're kind of loaded at that position, but Beanie's always around the ball.
Yeah, he is. He's around the ball, and I thought he did a really good job. I heard his name a lot, so I mean, I not only listened to the game on the radio, I watched it on the NFL Network on a replay on Sunday morning, and I watched it from the TV angle of things. And but unfortunately, I had to hear Jacksonville's announcers because the home team's announcers are on. Like next week, Tampa plays Pittsburgh at Acrisure Stadium. So what'll happen is you'll hear Rob King, the radio announcer, and you'll hear Max Starks, who I actually thought did a pretty good job. He's taken over for the late Craig Wolfley. I think he did a really good job. Unfortunately, I wasn't happy with the fact that Ramon Foster is the new field reporter. So for the Steelers radio network now. So there you are, Ramon Foster, who his voice is horrible. I think he does a podcast or something here and there. Not one of my fan favorites. After I think I told you the story about when I used to work for the Salvation Army, how he walked right by and didn't put no money in the kettle, and didn't even acknowledge me when I said hello, Ramon, and he didn't say anything to me. And he was trying to hide his face when he went into the Southside Giant Eagle, and I thought that was kind of ignorant, and so that was just my feeling on that. And he always looked like somebody who has this arrogant attitude about him, and now he's coaching high school or doing something in Tennessee or something like that. I can't remember. He says kids are in school or high school or something. I don't know, something like that. He said when I asked him what he was up to. So, but yeah, he's on this on the field, reporting from the field, and we'll see what happens next week. Smokin' Jim, your buddy comes to town, Baker Mayfield, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to have. I was trying to see if I could get Leo Haggerty on today to talk with us about that. And I had a couple things come up, and I didn't get a chance to really reach out to him right away to see if he could come on today to see what the Buccaneers are up to. So what do you think this Saturday? Who plays? Who don't? What do you think is going to happen against Buccaneers?
Well, I think they're having individual practices against Tampa Bay at Heinz Field, so I think that's more significant than even the exhibition game, because from a coaching standpoint, you can isolate players on players. You can break them down into groups, smaller groups. You can do backer on backs. You can do so many things, 7-on-7. So I think that they're going to be very familiar with one another when the exhibition game rolls around. But I don't expect Aaron Rodgers to play. I don't expect, obviously, Hayward play.
Yeah,
Boss
Connor
Ruff not
Hayward.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, uh, yeah. So it's hard to say right now. The NFL is so ridiculous. There's 16 players you can put on the practice squad. Virtually almost everybody's going to make this team in some capacity.
Oh yeah, they kept the COVID practice squad numbers together. At one point of COVID, it was 16. I think it was 16 or 20, and they decided to keep it that way since COVID was gone. So now you can keep 16 all the time, and now the practice squad was just what 5, 6 players, maybe 8, something like that. So. But now it's up to 16 players, and anybody can be on it. I mean, Mason Rudolph could be on a practice squad. I mean, that's the way it is now. It looks like so. That's where we are with the NFL now, and they got that electronic placing now, so you won't need the guys anymore to be holding the poles. It looks like they're testing this technology that's going to put the first down on the field there and all that. They were testing that during the game, and so. Your thoughts this year on Trevor Lawrence? Do you think he's going to do better with Liam Cohen in Jacksonville, or do you think he's going to regress and go backwards again?
Well, I don't know how he can do any better. He's been in the league 4 years. His rookie year, he threw for 3,600 yards. His sophomore and junior years, he both passed for over 4,000 yards in each of those years. Last year, he got hurt.
Right.
He has been a miracle worker with a roster that had not had very much talent. He got a couple talented receivers now.
Yes.
I think that the running back, ATM or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Dente. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted the Steelers to get him, but that didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a guy that's a factor in the pass game and the run game. So I think Trevor Lawrence, despite what the critics say, I know a guy that we do shows with, Luther Dupree, doesn't like him, but you can't argue with his statistics.
No,
on a bad team, he sure looked good. He sure was in rhythm on Saturday. So always liked him. He got a great frame. He's very successful. I look for Jacksonville to maybe have a breakout season this year.
Yeah, it could happen. We'll see what Liam Cohen does. I'm interested to get your thoughts, too, on some of the other first-time coaches. You got Kellen Moore down in New Orleans. That's a dumpster fire down there. What do you think Kellen Moore is going to do down there?
Not much.
No, I don't think so either. He really doesn't have a quarterback. And their center, he just got hurt. So he's out for the season, their starting center. So it's not looking too good for New Orleans. And I know what your thoughts are on the Jets head coach. So I'm trying to remember his name off the top of my head right now.
Aaron Glenn.
Aaron Glenn, yeah. I know your thoughts on him. What do you think he's going to do up here in New York? Probably nothing, but we'll see.
Fall on his face. Don't forget the statistics are what they are. 43% of all first-year black head coaches get fired after the first year. 43% of all black head coaches get fired after the first year. I think it'd be 44% with Aaron Glenn. You don't come and listen, for yourself, bro. You can only work on one side of the ball
Yeah,
at a time.
exactly. Yes, exactly. He's a defensive coach. Yes.
Yeah, you had Aaron Rodgers. You had the whole offensive system already in place. All you had to do was come in there and concentrate on the defense, and then you could have expanded it the next year when you got rid of Aaron Rodgers and those guys, and draft some people for your offense. But I think his arrogance is, he's never been a head coach anywhere before.
No, he hasn't.
And for him to say he don't want a Hall of Fame, Pittsburgh Steelers welcome with open arms because, you said, the Steelers can't develop no quarterback. So Aaron Rodgers landed in the Pittsburgh Steelers' lap.
All right, we're sponsored by Mike Dotson Realty, area code 410-596-1681, Ocean City's #1 realtor. Been in the business over 20 years. Go see Mike Dotson Realty today. Call him up if you need any kind of a real estate property, any kind of a rental. If you're looking for a summer home, or if you're looking for a summer rental, you might want to rent it out for the summer, or you're looking for yourself to, whenever you come down here quite often for a summer home. Give Mike a call today, 410-596-1681, Mike Dotson Realty. Also, our studio sponsor here at Studio 10 in Berlin, Maryland is Mata Heating and Air Conditioning, 724-2010-500, Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Call them today as well if you live in the Western Pennsylvania area. Also, don't forget about Robin Campbell Insurance, another one of our sponsors. Give him a call, Farmers, Bristol West, for all your insurance needs, life, auto, home, and also don't forget renters insurance, very important, 412-366-3399, Western Pennsylvania. Give Robin Campbell a call as well. All right, Smokin' Jim. All the other new coaches, Pete Carroll with the Raiders, I don't see any problem here, although the fact of the matter is Pete Carroll's in his 70s. I don't know how long he's going to last there. What's your thoughts on the Las Vegas Raiders?
I think they'll do good. I think they'll have a winning season.
Yeah, Pete Carroll, he don't take no jive. He's a good coach. I was surprised to see him back. But we'll see what happens. And I'm interested to see what the Raiders do this year. And they got Geno Smith as their starting quarterback, and Max Crosby, of course, on the defense. But anyway, Dallas, Brian Schottenheimer. Your thoughts on him?
I think George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb's going to lead them to the Super Bowl.
What about Dak Prescott? What do you think?
One of the best in the league.
Okay, we'll see. I don't know. Not too many first-year coaches go to the Super Bowl, but we'll see if he does. So we'll see what happens there. I'm interested myself to see what happens as we go along with that as well. All right, that's the first-year coaches, some of the head coaches, where we think they're going to go or could be. Let's talk about some of the ones on the bubble, Smokin' Jim. I'm hearing Mike McDaniel down in Miami's on the bubble. Your thoughts on Mike McDaniel?
I'm not sure. I don't know what's missing. I love his offense. He can't get in consistency enough out of that defense. I just, even when Tua is healthy, it's always been if Tua was healthy, they would win more. But even when Tua is healthy, they seem to be a team that slumps from time to time. So I think they're missing some leadership,
Right.
not only with the head coach, because I used to be friends with his uncle. His
Oh, okay.
uncle went to yeah, his uncle went to Peabody High School. His dad went to Peabody High School too, and so he got some roots here in Pittsburgh, even though he didn't grow up around here. But so I kind of pulled for him, but some of the things that he says doesn't inspire his team.
Right.
Like he told the media the other day ago, um, we're one day closer to death. I'm like, what? I don't even get what that means. Like, why
Right.
would you say that?
Yeah,
but
exactly. Exactly. You're
but
right. You're correct on that.
yeah.
I forgot a coach, Smoking Jim. Ben Johnson, the former offensive coordinator in Detroit, is now the new head coach in Chicago. What do you think Caleb Williams is going to do this year with him?
Um, you know what, man? He has a chance of doing well. It's two things that works against him. Number one, Chicago Bears never, ever, ever had a good quarterback. And a lot of it is because of the Windy City. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
throw the ball to the left and it ends up to the right. And
Yeah.
and so I believe, I'm not sure, but I know Cleveland's building an indoor
And so
stadium.
is Chicago. There's rumors going around about
Chicago.
Chicago as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that's true, if those rumors are true, like you said, Ralph, that and they can get it in there in the next couple of years before maybe his job is in jeopardy. I think his offense is tailor made for a dome stadium.
Stadium. Yeah. Well, it's tailor
Mhm.
made in Detroit, which is a dome stadium, Ford Field.
Yes,
So
sir.
I mean,
Yes, sir.
and so we'll see what he does. I think he has more. I think he's going to have more success than Aaron Glenn. That's my thought on Ben Johnson.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so I've done some research on him, and I think he's going to succeed better. He has a quarterback in Caleb Williams that's up and coming. We still we'll see what Justin Fields does up in the Jets with Aaron Glenn, and whatnot. And the biggest question is, how does Dan Campbell survive in Detroit now that he lost both of his coordinators? He elevated two guys and moved them up from the staff, and he lost Antoine Randall as wide receivers coach. He's now the running backs coach in Minnesota and Chicago, because Ben Johnson kind of gutted him.
Wow.
Ben Johnson kind of gutted him a little bit,
Wow.
Dan Campbell. So we're going to find out what Detroit's made of this year. What's Dan Campbell made of without his top coordinators that turned down coaching jobs from years before this time? They turned down jobs to stay there, and this time they decided to go. Both of them. So we'll see what happens there with that whole situation with Dan Campbell there as well. All right, Smoking Jim. Let's get back to quarterbacks not quarterbacks, coaches on the bubble. I'm hearing stories now. San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan. Some people are getting a little impatient down there. The family down there that owns the 49ers now starting to get a little impatient. He's dropped the ball a couple years in a row. I can't say that that's a true rumor, but Brian Pettit, who's a 49ers follower and also reports on him, said that there's a possibility he might be on the bubble if they don't do something this year, because we're into 4 years of Brock Purdy, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're in the
Yes,
4 years
sir.
of Brock Purdy. Other than the Super Bowl, he hasn't done. Yeah, he's been hurt. I mean, I get that, but he really hasn't done too much. And I'm going to say this: one other person I'm hearing it's on the bubble is Raheem Morris down in Atlanta. This will be his third season, and we're going to find out what Raheem Morris is made of. The Blank family's, you drafted Michael Penix. You still have Kirk Cousins down there. They failed the last couple of years with him. So let's find out what happens with Raheem Morris. I'm hearing he could be out the door quickly. Is Dave Canellis going to get fired in Carolina? Because you know how impatient Dave Tepper is. he could get fired at the end of the year if they don't produce. This will be his second season. Last year he did pretty good, won some games, beat some teams, some good teams. So we'll see what Carolina does this year as well. But he could be on the bubble. One other new coach, Mike Vrabel, I forgot to mention, from New England. What do you think Mike Vrabel's going to do there? He's got Josh McDonough as his offensive coordinator, and he brought in, I forget who he brought in. Oh, as his defensive coordinator, I forget who he brought in. But he's got a pretty good group there too. So what do you think about Mike Vrabel in New England?
Well, I think Mike is old school. Kind of reminds me of the coach for the Washington. Who was the coach for the Washington Commanders a couple of years ago?
Well, it was Dan Quinn
Rivera.
now.
I'm talking about Rivera.
Ron Rivera. Yeah, I like Ron Rivera.
Yeah.
Sad
That's
that
but they're old school guys, man. And,
Yes.
and the game may have passed them by a little bit with this new generation. They just don't listen. They do what they want to do. Vrabel and Rivera and those guys, they're like put the pads on. Only how you learn to hit is to hit. And these young guys, they don't go for that today. They don't want to hit. They don't want to practice. They don't want to do camp. Pittsburgh Steelers are still one of the few teams that go away to camp. Most of them just stay at their local facilities.
Yes, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that I think that Mike Vrabel might have a short leash.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, they lost they had Gerard Mayo as their coach. Didn't do well at all. He was elevated after Bill Belichick stepped away.
Hey, black coach.
Yeah, another one that went down. Yeah. Brian Flores. Brian Flores. But see, Brian Flores didn't want Tua, and he was forced to take Tua. That was the problem I heard down there with him. He argued with ownership. He said, "Listen, I don't want him here." Okay, and they had some friction. I think Flores could have been still been there if they didn't have that argument over Tua. You know what I mean? And sometimes you get into those situations. I've been in them in the media here, where I've had some disagreements with radio stations and different people because of stuff that I don't agree with. I got away from a group down in Florida that I don't deal with anymore. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. I've had some disagreements with media people. I've had some people who have basically, called me names and everything else and all that stuff and disrespect my shows and things like that. And, I just, it's the same way in coaching. It's the same way across the board, with that stuff. What do you think Teddy Bridgewater is going to do? He's back in the NFL. You think he'll be any good as a backup, or what do you think he's going to do?
Well, if he don't land in jail for all the crimes that he was committing with his high school as a head coach, if he can stay out of jail, which I think he probably will. Teddy's always been a hitsy ball player. He's always been a good backup, a good guy, even as a third team quarterback. He's always been a type person that helped. I know you said you watched the game. I don't know if you paid attention much. I've never seen this before, and I'm a big Dylan Gabriel fan.
Right.
I like him. But what he pulled to me on the game, he just sat at the end of the bench in street clothes with his hoodie. He didn't get involved. Listen, you're a quarterback. You should be standing by
I didn't see the Cleveland game. I didn't see that at all. I do know I caught parts of it, and I saw Shadir Sanders. I thought he did pretty good for the parts that I did see, but I didn't see Dylan Gabriel. I didn't see where he was at.
See, that's a little bit of that Kenny Pickett stuff. That's why he's going to be out of the league.
Oh, he's not going to be around.
You've never seen that with Bridgewater. He's always been, even when he probably deserved to start as a backup, he always tried to help out the starter. He always stayed and paid attention to what was going on with the coordinators so he can get the receivers, talk to the receivers and let them know, with the coordinator. Basically being as a backup quarterback, you're you're assistant coach. You are an assistant coach.
Oh yeah, you know, Mark Malone was a backup quarterback, but you know what people told me? Mark Malone, they said was a smart guy. I mean,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I mean, you know, a lot
yeah.
of these guys, they might not make it as a quarterback, but they're smart guys. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
they might not have the talent. And if they're backup quarterbacks, they should be, you know, Dylan Gabriel shouldn't even be sitting on the bench. Like you said, he should be trying to get what he can. Well, I wouldn't get anything from Kenny Pickett other than maybe running to go get water or something, but that's beside the point. But anyway, you know, Flacco's there. He could learn from Joe Flacco. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, I wouldn't do that if I was a rookie. JJ McCarthy actually kind of got lucky last year. He got hurt and he sat out and watched everything. He learned from Sam Darnold, and we're going to find out what he does this year in Minnesota. You know,
Yeah, he
so
did pretty good in the preseason game.
yeah, yeah. So
So
we'll
he
see
got to
what he
keep
does
it up
there.
now.
You know,
Hmm.
Kevin Kevin O'Connell's a really good coach. He's a good offensive mind, and we're going to find out exactly what's going to happen in Minnesota with JJ McCarthy this year. And even though you look good in preseason, that doesn't mean the regular season you look good because you're playing with different players sometimes, you know, and things like that. But we'll see. We'll see where he goes. We'll see if he's a smart guy that can come around, you know, and redeem, you know, from him being hurt last year. You know, so we'll see where Minnesota goes. I think they're going to do pretty good. I got some friends that cover Minnesota. I got friends basically for all 32 teams that I can reach out to and get any kind of information I need, or get them on the show here if I need them, if they're available. You know, so, and like I said, I heard from one of my people in Atlanta that Raheem Morris might be on the way out. If he wanted Michael Penix, and you got Kirk Cousins down there, you know, Mr. Big Money, you know, who has a great agent that got him that money to begin with. And, you know, so, but there we are with that. So, Smoking Jim, let's talk a little bit about this, you know, if I can find this banner here, because, oh, here we go. Oh, there we go. My favorite banner, sell the team. Let's talk about the Pirates a little bit here, real quick. Uh, Andrew Haney, another bad game for him yesterday. 4 innings. I think he gave up like 6 runs. This team is just forget about it. The season's practically over. Don Kelly is trying to audition for this managerial job. I really hope, and I agree with you, and I put it out there. And you know, a lot of people make fun of me about this. I think Joe Madden should be the manager because Joe Madden is good at working with young kids. He's 71 years old, so what? Okay. He's
Right.
good at working with
Right.
young talent. Look what he did in Tampa Bay. All right.
Yes, sir.
Chicago, he wasn't that great because he had all them superstars that were making big money, but he was good. He took Tampa Bay to 2 World Series, 2 when he was down,
Yes, sir.
and he had nothing. Okay. Nothing. All right. That's the type of manager we need. And like you said, we need somebody with some gray hair who can come in here. I don't want Tony La Russa. He's done. I don't want Don Mattingly. I don't want none of those guys. Okay. You know, I think Joe Madden would be, if you could find him, get him, pay him, bring him in, maybe 3, 4 years. Maybe Don Kelly, if he decides to stay as the bench coach, get some more seasoning as a manager, and then down the road hire a young manager that can come in and do that stuff. You know, but the Pirates have got to get their act together. They got to do something with Ben Cherington. Some of his trades have just been ridiculous. He got rid of not Charlie, Key Brian Hayes for next to nothing, which, of course, I always said this. He has a bad back and no bat. Okay, a bad back and no bat. So to me, that's not for what he's getting paid, other than being a defensive player. I thought he was getting overpaid to begin with. Reynolds hasn't done much, and you know they're overpaying him. And I don't even think Skeens is going to take an extension. And Jared Jones turned one down too a couple years ago. So I don't know where this team goes. What do you think about the Pirates? We'll talk about them real quick here.
Well, anytime Paul Skeens get a win, I celebrate. You know, because The guy been pitching his butt off all year long. May even still win the Cy Young with the losing record. But you know, I agree with everything you said, Ralph. Here's the thing that the people here in Pittsburgh don't understand, and I can see why you say sell the team. Milwaukee has made the playoffs, I think, 8 out of the last 9 years, and they got
Houston.
a similar.
Cincinnati's up and coming. Cincinnati, Houston. Cincinnati's up and coming this year.
Yeah, but the reason I brought in Milwaukee is because
Milwaukee. Yeah.
they're the size of their market is just as small as Pittsburgh, and they find a way to win. You know, there's no excuse.
Baltimore Orioles sometimes. Well, sometimes this year they're having a bad year.
Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse for the Pirates to go decades after decades after decades and not put together a winner. And like you said, I think it would be different if the owner would sell the team to somebody that really wanted to come in here and win.
Well, somebody did. What, 3 years ago? Mark Cuban came in here. He offered him double what he was asking, and he said the team's not for sale. So, you know,
unbelievable.
You got to be an idiot not to accept Mark Cuban's money. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody came in and offered me double, I'd say, hey, you know what? I really don't want this heartache anymore. I'll take it and walk away. You know, I'd take it in 2 seconds and leave. He said he wants to leave it for his daughters. I hate to see if they run the team. You know. No, I have nothing against a woman running the team. Look at the Tennessee Titans, how they've fallen with a woman owner. Okay, how about any given Sunday with Cameron Diaz? Remember she was running that team.
Yeah.
Think about that for a minute. I got nothing against women running football teams. None. Please don't take this the wrong way or misquote me. But take a look at that for a second. Watch any given Sunday and take a look at that for a minute. Okay? And look at the Titans. They're and I'm hearing now Irsay's family in the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I'm hearing Shane Steichen's on the could be on eggshells this year because they got new people taking over. You know, everybody wants their own coach, their own GM when it doesn't matter if it's in family or not. Let's say if Art Rooney the second steps away, which he's talking about stepping down in the next year or two. If he does, and his kids or his brothers start running the team, and Tomlin's gone, they say, we want our own coach. Get Tomlin out of there, and then and bring in your own personnel or whatever you need to do. You know what I mean? They're going to probably want to do that. They did it in Cleveland many times. They did it in with the Commanders when they got their new ownership there. So I mean, so we'll see what happens. I mean, it's something's got to give here with some of this stuff, and with the Pirates, something's got to give. This owner either has to wake up, sell the team, or please, at least get a couple bats and a pitcher or two in here. Not the guy who was 1-15 5 years ago, and Ray Searage is supposed to be the miracle worker to fix him and all that stuff. Do something with that Oscar Marin. He's a horrible pitching coach. It's just and like Claudio always says, it's the way the coaches are coaching there too. You think about that for a minute. How in the world does Key Brian Hayes not know how to bat? You know what I mean? Or why are these guys batting their weight? I don't care who you bring in as your hitting coach. You got to get some players in here that can hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had the Eckstein brothers who did very well in Major League Baseball. Neither one of them could do it. They both got fired from the Pirates. So, I mean, come on. That's just the type of stuff that bothers me to death. And coming up in September, real soon here, the end of August, Penguin training camp, Dan Muse. Let's find out what he's made of, Smokin' Jim. Never been a head coach. But in order, and I'll say this once, I'll say it again, in order for a successful head coach, first-year coach, you got to surround yourself with some good assistants. I don't care what game it is. I don't care what time, what the time of day it is. You need to surround yourself with good assistants that have experience, been in the league. Go out and look for some former coaches. Go out and get some guys off the couch that might be retired or off the golf course and bring them in, and say, hey, look, I need your help here. I'm hearing Dan Muse has a lot of friends that have been coaches at one time that were good. So let's see who he calls, and says, hey, can you come on in and help me out? I don't care if you're a consultant, a scout. I don't care if you drive me around, whatever. I need help here, So we're going to find out what the Penguins do this year with the new coach, Dan Muse. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I'm always excited when we have a new coach because I'm interested to see Malkin is in his last year of his contract. He's going to Russia and disappearing. He wants to play with Jaromir Jagr out there. And so he's going to be going out to Russia after his contract expires. Sidney Crosby has a couple more years. Let's see what he does or where he's going to go. Carlson stunk up the joint this year. Terrible. He needs to go. They got a lot of guys with no trade clauses that Kyle Dubas has to get rid of. Real quick, your thoughts on the Penguins for this year?
Too old or slow.
Yeah, Ron Hextall really made it like that. All right, final thoughts, Smokin' Jim, before we wrap it up, because we're getting ready to get into Wrestle Talk, and we got a lot to talk about today. Wrestle Talk, wow, lots to talk about.
Well, I'll tell you what, college football is right around the corner.
Yes,
it'll be a banner year for your Penn State Nittany Lions.
Yeah, they're not mine. I've always been a Pitt fan for many, many years, and since I was 5 years old, my grandfather and we walked up Cardiac Hill to go to games, and parked our car down by the old Dairy Queen down here on Center Avenue, and walked up, and did it all the time. I watched Dan Marino play. Jackie Sherrill was the coach. I had the privilege of watching him. Foge Fazio, Mike Gottfried. I was there for all those guys. Dave Wannstedt. The first year Wannstedt took over, I went and got season tickets, and I wasn't even in the media at the time. I went and got season tickets, because I thought Wannstedt did a pretty decent job. It was just Steve Peterson came back and wanted his own coach, just like he screwed up the Nebraska program. And I call it the Jackie Sherrill curse. Pitt has not been good since Jackie Sherrill left. And, I think there's a curse there because they haven't been very relevant for years. And even when Walt was around. I mean, even when we went to bowl games, we got blown out. We were in the Fiesta Bowl that one year. The last year he was there, we got blown out 45-6 by, guess who? Urban Meyer's Utah team. Remember that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and Wannstedt, I think if he would have been given a couple more years, I think he could have. I mean, he was a good salesman for the university and everything else. And so, all right, Smokin' Jim, my final thoughts are this. Please, Bob Nutting, do me a favor. Do us all a favor. And I'm going to reiterate on this. Please go to church, kneel on your knees, pray to God that he sells this team. Please sell the team. All right. All right. For Smokin' Jim Frazier, I'm Ralph Williams. Thank you for being part of the program today. And stay tuned. Coming up next, Wrestle Talk, right after this, coming up in a few minutes. So we look forward to seeing you around 5 o'clock. Real quick here, I want to go on Facebook here real quick because I didn't get to the Facebook. Smokin' Jim and I were busy talking here, and I never got to Facebook to see if anybody was joining us on Facebook today. Let me see what we have. I don't want to lose those guys. All right, Brandon Keeler. I want to thank you for that, Brandon. Thank you. Brandon works with the Nuts. No, I can't think of its name off the top of my head. The Sports Nuts, NUTZ. Check them out. They have very good shows. Friday night they're on, and they talk sports. I've not been on their shows with them yet, but I'm going to be starting a working relationship with the Sports Nuts Smokin' Jim, just to let you know. And I want to thank Brandon for being part of the show today on YouTube, or I'm sorry, on Facebook. And so, all right, when we come back, more Wrestle Talk and more. Stay tuned. Till next week. Be safe. Thank you.